Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. I'm Abhi. If you're new here, we make content on interiors, home decor and DIY. If you don't know about us, The Yellow Dwelling is an all-natural and contemporary furnishing brand, and you can find all the details about us in the link below. So today we have Rashi, our designer here, and we both are going to deep dive into how we ideate, create and showcase our products. A few days back, we asked our audience on Instagram as to what they'd like to know about our design process, and we got some interesting questions. And if you're not following us on Instagram, do consider following. We keep asking our audience as to what sort of content they'd like to see.
So we're going to look at some of the questions that our audience had for us.
Right.
The first question is, so why did you choose to create original designs for the Yellow Dwelling?
So even while we were small, Rashi, we, the dreams were always very big for us. And as soon as we started out, we realized that in order to scale and be different, be unique from the rest of the market, we had to have our own original designs. So in the beginning, like anybody else, when we were testing out the market, so we picked some products, some fabrics from the existing wholesale markets, and then, made products out of them. Soon as we started scaling up, we realized that in order to offer what exactly we wanted, what the brand wanted to offer our audience, we had to jump into making our own designs. And this led us to investing our time, money and effort into this whole design process, and having you over and designing exclusive collections for our customers.
I think like over the years, working together, we sort of understood what works for the Yellow Dwelling, what our customers really like, and what are we also personally, I think, resonating with.
Exactly, yeah. We've come a long way, and now I think we're in sort of a comfortable position where we know all these things. So the next question that we've got is, how many collections do you release per year, and what products do you release in each collection?
So we design about 3 collections every year.
Yes.
That is our spring-summer collection that comes out around April. We have the festive collection which comes out around August-September. And the the Christmas collection that comes out around October, November. Yeah. And so I think definitely the spring-summer collection is like all-encompassing.
Yes.
All of the products that we have to offer kind of get designed in that collection.
Yeah, that's like the starting collection of the year, right?
Yeah.
So it's always everything is in it. And curtains, we did about how many we did? 25
about
to
25,
30,
30.
roughly about 25 to 30 designs in curtains. And we did in dining cushions, we did again about 25 to 30.
Yeah.
We do. And dining, we've done about 8 to 9 designs. Different ones.
Yeah.
And bedding. So this time bedding is
bedding is an interesting one that we did this time.
Again, about 4 prints and 4 solids.
Absolutely. And we tried some different quilts. We tried, fitted sheets, flat sheets, all of that. So yeah, definitely. I think we work with a lot of design ideas and product ideas with that one. And then the festive, also to some extent, we do also have a lot of new designs coming in curtains.
Right.
We again, I think about 15 to 20 is a safe amount.
Curtains, yes.
Yeah, to say. Then we have a little bit of bedding.
Yes.
Some dining.
Yeah, we focus a little bit
more on dining.
Right? Festive,
That's
so when people are all having get-togethers and hosting friends and family.
Correct.
And bedding also, we do a similar range.
And cushions, of course. How can we miss cushions?
Yes. And Christmas is something, very close to our hearts, right? We both enjoy putting together the Christmas. So it's a capsule collection usually.
Yes.
We do about 15 to 20 cushions and a bit of dining.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So our next question that came in is, what inspires our designs?
It's actually the simple things in life, right? So it's from the everyday things, memories, and from moments that spark joy. So spreading joy has been like the core vision of the brand, like right from the days we started. So that's, I think, like the central core of this whole inspiration, right?
Yeah. So for me, I think I'm very inspired by a lot of the plant forms that I see.
Right.
And that's why I think the ginkgo for me that you see over here is like such a treasured motif, I suppose, for me, because I felt that the form looked very interesting. It brought serenity to the space, and with cottage living, that was exactly what we were trying to do. Bring our passions, hobbies, ideas, crafts that we did,
Yeah.
and really reflect that in the products that we were.
Right, absolutely. I think I really enjoyed the putting together of cottage living, right? So we brought in all the sorts of memories and things that we really enjoyed. For me, it was the hydrangeas, if you remember that.
I know you were growing them on your terrace.
Yeah.
This summer.
So that plant has been with me for 4 years actually. Yeah, every year there's only one bloom, and this year for some reason there's been multiple blooms. And hydrangea is also like part of my memories. Like childhood used to be trips to Kodai and Ooty were like very regular, and you'd find these hydrangeas in these beautiful manicured gardens of the resorts we used to see, and some even homes. So beautiful, you know, and that was always something I loved as a flower. And we tried that print, and it has come out so beautifully, right?
I know, it's like a personal favorite of ours.
Yeah. So yeah, these are the things that we draw inspirations
Yeah,
from,
I think
right?
keep it simple, understand what sparks joy,
Right.
and just reflect that in the products, because I think when you're happy making it,
Right.
hopefully that translates into the product and finally what the customers are holding it,
Right.
using in their homes.
Absolutely. So for me, it's one thing is that if you have something in your house and you look at it, it has to, you know, radiate that joy. Like you should like look at it and then smile at it while you're passing by.
Absolutely,
So that was something we've always ensured that's there in our products. Yeah.
So our next question is, how do you choose your color palettes?
So as you know, the story goes, right? We moved into our house in 2016.
Your first home?
Yeah, our first home that we picked up, me and Nandu. We moved it into 2016 and we were looking to furnish our house.
Yeah.
So we went around the market everywhere in Bangalore, even online, everywhere I checked out, and I was very unhappy with the colors that I found. You know, somehow we felt that it did not represent us. The colors predominantly we found were very darker shades, like the browns, the maroons, some deep blues. Somehow it felt that I wanted my house to be light and refreshing. That did not like come out of this.
True.
So from there, you know, when we started with this whole idea of yellow dwelling, we were very particular that yellow dwelling had to be synonymous with really nice and happier color palettes. And that was very core again, you know.
Yeah.
The briefs were always given to you saying
Always
that
the lightest color that is possible,
Yeah.
we are going to go with that.
Right.
So I think predominantly a lot of the colors that we use are yellows, teals. We've started dabbling a little bit with the indigos now.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's always, I think, a very measured, we're very, I think, cautious, but like in a measured way.
Yes.
So I think like with the cottage living, we tried the rust, which was the first one for us.
Experimented, yeah. We experimented a little bit of orange shades, but yeah, I think this time we've nailed it.
Yeah, it's either a hit or a miss. Sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it does.
Yeah.
But I think it also helps that we try to push the envelope a little bit with every single collection that we come out with, right? And we always have those problems with finding that correct shade.
So yeah, this is our Pantone code book, guys. So we're always, me and Rashi are going back and forth in this, right?
Yeah,
And
oh my god.
We know some of the areas, like there are about how much, Rashi? 2,000 odd colors, 2,500 plus colors in this Pantone book. And this is where we start picking our color palette.
Correct.
And we know for sure, like some of these areas that you see, we'll really stay away from it. And Rashi has her pet peeves somewhere around here.
Yeah, I mean, so personally I don't like a lot of cold colors, which you know, so I will always gravitate more towards the warmer ones.
Colors, yes.
But also, I mean, lighting has made such a difference when we look at it, right? So sometimes we'll go out of this room and go see it in the sunlight,
Yes.
because sometimes the color we liked in this room doesn't actually look as nice when you look at it in the sunlight.
And this is paper, right? When it gets translated into cotton, it looks different. So we spend a good lot of time in finalizing
First deciding between us,
Yeah.
then sampling, and then going back and forth and saying, okay, is this working, is this not? And I think sometimes right at the end we're taking those executive calls, I think we need to change the color.
Yeah, and then you know the time limit is like within 1 hour we are supposed to give an approval. Like we get the samples and within an hour we're supposed to give okay. So that's like when you're really put in the spot, right? And I mean it's very interesting to go through that. And as a thing, like Rashi's mentioned, that we always are in the happier color palette, and we've also started dabbling a lot with the neutrals, right? In our recent collections, you'll be seeing a lot of neutrals happening, both in the warmer shades and in the colder shades.
With the, I mean, linens we tried, so that's a neutral tone. Our ginkgos was there, neutral tones. Pebble was there, so our antique rose. That was another one that we did.
And the cream, the ivory and cream that we picked.
Oh,
this
the
time.
debates we have had on the correct cream.
Yeah. So we are always looking for that happy shade of neutral, right?
Yes.
The neutral can be very tricky, drab or cheerful.
And interestingly, colors have something like undertones, right?
Yes.
So I think with the Oasis, we sometimes felt that there were green undertones which we weren't liking.
Yes.
So this is, I think, something that we keep going.
Yeah, undertone is a totally new thing for me. So our next question is, how do we ideate for our collection?
So I think, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of our designs are inspired by, these memories that we have created and things that really inspire these objects and things. So I mean, we use these inspirations as anchors for the designs that we start to create through the collection.
Right.
So for instance, like we spoke about the hydrangeas, that was something very inspiring. So we've identified these elements that we definitely want happening through the collection. So we had hydrangeas, we had ferns, we had tulips.
Right.
We had our antique rose that happened. So it was identify it and then start using that as an inspiration to create,
Correct.
the designs.
Right.
But also while designing, we have to be very mindful of, how will it look? What is the size going to be like? What is the product actually, that is going on? So like
we always, our favorite thing is to put the visual board, right? So we put all of these elements in our visual board. It's technically called the mood board. So remember we had this little cottage image of that in the
and
board.
then like just some little fabric swatches of things that we liked.
So and we always love pairing the florals with geometry. So we had some of the geometrics that we liked, and then we had some of these florals we just talked about it.
Right.
All that visual board, right?
Yeah. So it's just like those ideas that we had and create like a visual representation of that idea. Yeah. So that's what we normally call a mood board. But yes, to give you a little easier, it's a visual representation of those ideas that we work with.
So after our mood board is done, our visual board is done, then we go to the most difficult part of choosing the colors, right?
Yes.
So we then, like we discussed, so we have a broad spectrum of colors that the brand plays with. We pick that, and then we also look at what is the core that we are going with, what is the theme of this collection. So for example, last cottage living was all about a lot of biophilic, a lot of nature inspired and botanical floral patterns. So picking a right shade of green was so important to us, right?
Correct.
And we went back and forth a lot. Guys, you don't know, this is the area we were like going back and forth. We picked the leaf green for the ferns.
Yes.
And we've also used a darker hedge green this time. We have dabbled
which has come with our bedding collection, part of it.
Right.
Yeah. So I think just identifying that correct color for the product, because we have to continuously be very careful that this is what the product is going to look like at the end of the day, right? It might be visual and very nice to look at on a screen, but finally you have to also understand how would the customer use it, why would they use it, and answer those questions, I think.
Absolutely. So you remember a lot of prints will look absolutely fantastic on screen, we'll put it up, but then we'll think same print in a larger mass. For example, curtains are going to be a huge thing. So the same print in a larger mass of fabric, is it going to be overpowering? Is it going to look good? So then we've taken a call. A lot of times, if you remember, we have said, no, let's not do this. It's not going to work in a curtain.
There are so many designs that we have finally just scrapped, and you spent weeks together planning it, designing it, and it doesn't work. And I think, we don't get upset by it, because you have to understand that is also a part of the design process that goes through.
Correct.
So
finally, we are giving out physical products, and that has to speak, what people really like. So
like we would never use a ginkgo for a tablecloth because it's white base, it's too light. Our customers would not, or I don't think even I would use it, right? Because you're worried about the stains that would fall on the tablecloth. Even with our cushions, I think we are very mindful of the finishings that we will use.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like our fairy ring. We knew lace would just look extremely charming on that design, but why didn't we use lace for something else where instead we choose to use like a lot of tassels.
For the tablecloth, for example, we use tassels. So a lot of things goes behind it, right? So we do the designs as per our products. We keep our products in the core while doing the design. It's not just we design some pretty print and splash it all over.
Correct. And I think that's what makes them so unique, right? They're like specifically designed for the product.
So what are the tools that we use to develop our designs?
Right. So I think it's pretty easy. We just use two softwares essentially, which is your Adobe Illustrator, and so that is for creating your seamless repeat patterns, And the second is Photoshop for photo correction, but also I think to create mock-ups to see if our designs are working.
The curtains we do.
Yes,
that mostly,
yeah.
Right.
And to draw, sometimes I do use an application called Procreate, which is on the iPad, but you can always use a Wacom tablet and draw directly on Illustrator. So the next question is, what are the steps involved in developing the products?
Okay, so now this is the most difficult part, right? We've got all the designs in our system, and how do we create it into physical products? So we have mastered it over time. Basically, first step is to actually identify our fabric. As you know, we will look at the construct, the weave pattern, and the GSM of the fabric. Like our curtains are on a thicker GSM fabric, shears on a slightly lighter GSM fabric. So we identify and we finalize these fabrics. The next step is the process. Basically, if it is a pattern, it goes for printing process. We have 2 or 3 printing process. One is the rotary and the other one is the screen printing. We've showed a bunch of screen printing videos and rotary printing also. After printing, and the other one is dyeing. If it's a solid color, it goes into a dyeing process. After these 2 processes over, the fabric goes into curing. So this is basically to seal the fastness, color fastness, and also do a bit of shrinkage control. Once this is done, the fabrics are ready, and then they go into finishing, which is our stitching. So we again give them dimensions as to cushion covers are this size, 24 inch or 16 inch, whatever. We give them all of it. And you also know we specify a lot of these finishings. We spend a lot of time, like we discussed earlier. We pick the right finishings for the right product. We give them all these things in a written format. And the most important thing is they develop a sample piece and they send it to us. And both me and Rashi, we look at the samples and we okay it. We tell them all that is fine, not fine, whatever. And then it goes for the mass printing, mass bulk production. So the next question, what are the challenges you face while taking your designs into production?
So I think one of the biggest challenges we face is really communicating that design across to our manufacturers. Absolutely. So it could be like the smallest mistake as, getting the zipper in the, incorrect position. Just sometimes the lace is not right, the seams are visible. So I think this is definitely something that we're constantly, challenged with.
Like Rashi said, absolutely, communication is one of the biggest challenges. Secondly, the thing that comes to colors, when it comes to colors, like we discussed before, we're very particular about the shade. And so we send in the Pantone code set telling that this is the code, and then they give us a sample. This is how it comes, right? There are 3-4 options, and sometimes none of the options match what we have in mind.
I think because we work with a lot of muted tones, and we always get the most brightest version of the
and to
color.
Communicate that, we struggle so much. Like I pick up the phone and say, hey, it's a bit fluorescent or it's a bit brighter, can you mute it down? They don't understand it sometimes. So it's so difficult, and a lot of times if we've gone physically for doing the color matching this thing, that is another huge thing. And I think the things about finishing is where we face a lot of challenge, right? Like we tell them this is the sort of finishing we need, and they struggle first getting that finishing.
So I think it's for us also to understand how to communicate this information across, hopefully clearly, so that we stop having such challenges along the way.
A lot of flops have happened. I think one of the things was that zipper that was placed. So the cushion is designed in this way. Obviously the zipper should come down, so they put it in the side. Oh god. And one of the things, the bedsheet one was a epic flop, if you remember. So earlier we used to do that side attached bedsheets. They had just flipped the design. So the first design comes like the second design goes that way. Entire thing had to be redone.
Correct. So it's patience and just hopefully clear communication that gets us through it.
Correct. Patience and very clear communication, and I think the sampling now. So after a lot of back and forth, now we fine tuned the process also, right? So now the sampling works a lot better. So they sent us one sample of the print or the product, and then we okay it.
Okay, so our question is, how do you clearly communicate your ideas across to the manufacturer?
So like we mentioned earlier, there have been a lot of mistakes, both from our side, from their side. Now I think we've learned a lot after so many collections, so many iterations.
Our experiences have made us wiser.
Absolutely. Now we've fine-tuned a lot, I think. So we give very clear written communication. in all aspects, right? So
Yeah.
we do not leave anything open for
Yeah,
their
interpretation, absolutely.
everything is written down, from the size, from the stitching guideline, how it has to be stitched, from the finishing, how the finishing has to be placed.
Yeah.
Everything is documented, written, and shared with them when we start each collection. And another important thing is some of them are actually translated into vernacular languages by the manufacturer, by the team there.
Yeah.
So they translate them and then share it to the final craftsman who's executing it.
Yeah.
See, sometimes language becomes a challenge. We give everything in English, and sometimes they do not read and write English.
Yeah.
So we've done that as well. Interestingly, we've gone and like some of us we have done, and some of it has been done by the team over there.
Correct, yeah. So our last question, will you be bringing back some of your old designs?
This is one of the questions that we get a lot on our DMs. Is this back? Why is it out of stock? When is it coming back?
Which is great, right? That's exactly what you want.
Yeah. So see, the whole concept of starting this collection based, which is only available in the fashion industry. If you see, not many home decor industries follow this collection. That too 3 collections a year. So the whole idea of following this or practicing this rather, was to give them options, to give our customers some new prints every season, right? We don't want you to just come back to the store and find all the same old patterns all the time. And we are very confident that we put out the best every collection, right?
Yeah.
Every collection, I feel that we have one upped from
the
last
previous
collection,
one, absolutely.
Right? This is like the best we've done
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
That kind of feeling. So while we do that, we also very keenly listen to our customers. We keep note of which is selling out faster, for which print and color we keep getting a lot of queries.
Yeah.
We keep that in mind, and some of the prints do come back. So keep a watch on our website, our stores, and be in touch with our teams, so you will know if some of your favorite is out of stock. Some of it may be coming back. Yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. We spoke a lot about design. I think we've shared a lot more than we usually do. So if you liked it, please do like and share this video, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button so that you do not miss out on our future videos.
Alright, bye.
Bye.